Hey everyone from Las Vegas. Oakland Raiders head coach Jon Gruden's putting together his staff. And yeah, it's diverse, but it's diverse in a weird way. Let me explain by showing you right here what I have found. This is the Oakland Raiders coaching staff as it stands right now. There is, of course, Coach Gruden at the top, Rick Bossia, the special teams coach and assistant head coach, Paul Guenther, defensive coordinator, Greg Olson, offensive coordinator, and you would say, okay, these are retread guys returning from the Raiders in all white, okay? But here's the thing. And you've got, first of all, Jamal Singleton right here, who is returning to the Raiders as, not returning, but he's coming from the Colts to the Raiders right here as the running backs coach. And then we've got Jethro Franklin, who is a holdover from the previous coaching regime under Del Rio right here. And Mr. Franklin is in limbo. He may not return, but reports are he's more likely to remain on the staff with Coach Jon Gruden. Then we have Edgar Bennett. And Edgar Bennett is the wide receivers coach for the Raiders. He was formerly an offensive coordinator. So so you've got the makings of a good mix, but it's bottom heavy, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Now, reports that Alabama coach Derek Ainsley would join the Raiders have been amended. He did interview with the Raiders, but he is now defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide's new defensive coordinator, okay, the national champions. That leads me to this point that I want to make as I close this video. There are a number of very talented African-American head coaches at the college level that are not getting there doing the National Football League. Kevin Sumlin, who's the new coach of the Arizona Wildcats in the Pac-12, made $5 million a year as the Texas A&M head coach, but the Raiders interviewed him not for a head coaching position, but for a wide, not even for an offensive coordinator position, but for a wide receiver coach position, okay? And you have a number of very talented people who are not getting their due at the NFL level because you have friends like Jon Gruden hiring friends. Specifically, it was Coach Gruden who said that the reason why he was bringing in Olson is because he coached on his staff before and basically he knows him, okay? And then Paul Guenther, he met Guenther through his brother Jay Gruden when Jay Gruden was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals. And it goes on and on and on. So the point is that the reason the Rooney Rule was installed was to really stop this habit of white coaches hiring their friends rather than bringing in coaches who can really make a difference who happen to be black and really break this kind of racism that even works another way. Tommy Vardell, the running back who was from Stanford, white, who ran a great 40-yard dash, was thought to be a fullback just because he was white. But a number of us, myself, Mike Silver, a number of people, when he was coming out saying, hey, wait a minute, stop judging him as if he were a white, slow person because he's white when he's actually fast. It's that kind of thinking that prevents people from getting the best at any position. When you look at a person, you think because they look a certain way, they should either know something or perform a certain way, all right? So the bottom line is we still have the problem because it was Gruden who said, and I quote, he made this statement right here in raving about his coaching hires. Greg Olson coached Derek Carr for a year here. His intel there will be very important. He coached with me at Tampa, and then he coached with Sean McVay, one of my assistants in LA, who's the head coach of the Rams. So the system of football that we run will be a real natural flow. It's also a kind of a system that can be stopped, but that's another point for another vlog. Then he says this about Guenther, okay? He says, I met Paul Guenther when my brother Jay Gruden was the offensive coordinator of the Bengals. I love the way the Bengals play defense. Up the field, single gap, get after you. That's great. That part's great. But my point is, again, it's who he knows. It's not that he's actually studied what's going on in football, Coach Gruden, and said, you know what? I've got enough money now to hire the best, regardless of whether or not I know them, and move forward, and who are able to design a kind of approach that I want. So keep that in mind, folks. This is still friends hiring friends, not hiring the best, but friends hiring friends. And so we should approach this with, I would think, a questionable eye. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube. Bookmark Zenny62.com. Follow me on Twitter, Zenny62. I'll see you.